Welcome to the 20th day of October. This is Restoring Hope Live, brought to you by Powell CDC, a program that helps you deal with life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups. And no, we don't think you're probably the one that we're talking to. We think that you enable someone, and that's why we want to talk to you. When you love someone so much, their kin, their blood, more importantly, maybe they're not blood, and that makes them family, even bigger than blood. And they're hurting because of something in life that has gone the wrong way. Maybe they drink, maybe they use drugs, maybe they have a bad body self-image, maybe they are emotionally or physically abused. We're going to try to help you identify those signs, and you can be the person that they come to, and you can help them. And remember, you've got somebody to call, always. Lila Stafford in the studio right now at Powell CDC, 263-2424.
Correct.
Wow. Remember that, baby. Good. And, of course, there's Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat today. And it's nice to have Bob here. And our special guest is a gentleman that you've met once before.
Yes.
And that was twice before?
Yes, I was here with one of my friends, too.
Okay. But you were here a year ago.
Yeah.
When you got your first-year chip.
Yep.
And now you're here getting ready to get your second-year chip.
Yes, I am.
And when is the date?
It's October 28th.
October 28th.
Yep.
All right, and that'll be 2 years.
2 years.
Do you know how many days that is?
365 times 2.
Plus?
Plus a leap year?
Yeah. That's 731 days.
731.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Mac.
All right, and so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about what the second year of sobriety looks like. You know, a lot of the people that we bring on here are either brand new and fresh, or they've got decades of sobriety. You're 27?
28.
28. We had that one gentleman on that I really liked. I think he was at 40, white-haired gentleman. Anyway, John was his name. John. No?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, go with John.
So we have people who have, decades of sobriety, and then we have people who have weeks or months of sobriety. But David's rare. We usually don't have somebody come in that's in this level of maturity. Now, the person who's got the most sobriety in this room, of course, is Bob Montserrat. How many years of sobriety do you have?
Over 62.
Yeah, because you've never drank.
Correct.
You never drank? You never, ever?
Never, ever.
Never. Took a little champagne on your wedding?
Oh, well, yeah, but
Oh.
Well, so does that count?
that doesn't count.
Okay.
It doesn't. Lila, would you like to tell us whether that counts or not?
Well, it doesn't count for him.
That's right. All right. So,
But before we get started, I do want to, because we're talking about the second year, I just want to say that this is your experience. Everybody has a different experience in their second year. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes when someone tells their story, then we think, oh, I'm afraid of that. That's going to happen to me. So I just want to warn our listeners that this is just his experience. It's not. It doesn't have to be their experience.
Yeah, and quite frankly, no two experiences are exactly alike.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like a snowflake. You're perfect in your own way.
Yes, thank you.
Snowflake. Maybe that'll be your new nickname.
No.
Snowflake Pastwa. Now, the last time you were here, you had your 16-year-old daughter here.
Yep, Alexis Rose.
And she shared with us what a great deal it was to have her dad clean and sober.
Yep.
First time she had ever known you clean and sober. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
So in the last year, compare these few days before chip number 2 compared to the few days before chip number 1.
I'm really more relaxed now. I was nervous getting to be my 1 year, and I'm not so nervous anymore. I have a program that's working for me. In the beginning, it was kind of difficult to figure out what your program's going to be and how it works for you. I have a great sponsor. I do some things a lot different than I did the first year, and I think here's how it works for me. I put God first, and it makes my life very, very easy. Because I know that I have no power, no will. I have to use His will. It's amazing how that's working for me in my life.
You don't feel like you're fighting so much
I'm
anymore.
not fighting, and it tells us in the big book, and also tells us in the NA book and the Celebrate Recovery book that surrender is just not having to fight anymore, and I don't have to fight anymore, and I think that's important. Once you give up that fight for whatever addiction that you have, it just gets so much better in your life.
It's smooth sailing.
Oh my God, yes.
Cool.
Oh my God, yes. I just so many doors have opened for me, and even though when you have that one door that closes and you think that, wow, this, or say I had a job and I thought it was going to be the best job ever, and then it turned out not to be that best job ever. It turned out to be around people who were using, drinking, and drugging, and I put myself in a wrong position, and then I prayed and said, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I just want to get fired, and I prayed for that, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And so that was good. That was a good thing for me, because I took myself out of a situation that was bad, and I put myself in a better situation, and I think what I saw during that time was I was missing my men's groups. I was missing church. I was missing meetings, and I wasn't fulfilling the things that I needed to fulfill. And this was I think I had almost 18 months at that point, and I'm glad that I got fired that day.
Yeah.
Because now it just turned everything upside down.
Did you have a peace about you when you were fired?
Yeah. I was telling my friends, I said, you know what, I'm probably going to get fired today, and I'm really cool with that. And my life has gotten so much better after that.
Yeah.
So I learned that the people that I was working with, I know what kind of environment not to put myself in.
Yeah.
You don't put yourself in. If you go to a bar, you're going to drink. Sooner or later, you're going to drink. It's like going to a barbershop. You go to a barbershop, you only go there for a haircut. You're not going to sit there and talk all day.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, you're going to get a haircut. I'm truly blessed that day happened.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it opened so many more doors for me. With all the other groups that I'm in, going to meetings again, and man, it opened my eyes.
So you're in an environment now at work without other people using, or at least talking about
everybody
it.
who I work with now, and they are in a program.
Oh, wonderful.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And that's the way I like it.
Yeah.
Because
keeps you accountable.
Keeps you very accountable. And the people who I associate with are in the programs. People's houses that I work in, they're very, I don't pick them, they pick me, but in reality, I'm picking them too, because I can refuse to work at somebody's house.
Yeah.
But it's funny, once you start talking to them, once they just open that door just a little bit, and you can start talking about recovery or God or however it is in your life, and what makes you the person that you are today, they want to know more.
Yeah.
And then they want to open up themselves to you. And then I think that's what we call discipling.
Yeah.
Going out there and just spreading the good word,
Yeah.
and it could be about recovery. It could be about anything, as long as it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to know what's going on. What's going on? Because somebody always has that little dark secret or something they just want to get out and they want to tell somebody about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our secrets keep us safe.
Yeah.
Dave Pastwa is our guest today. He's approaching 700 and, what'd I say? 31 days sober.
Who's counting?
Which is 2 years. And one of the reasons we wanted to have Dave on today is, as Lila said earlier, everybody's second year is different. Everybody's second year, because you get past the one. You get past 1 year. And that's a big deal. I don't care what anybody says. You have gone through every holiday. You have gone through every celebration. You've gone through every anniversary. And somehow you've remained sober. Mm-hmm. And now you realize, oh my gosh, this is real. A lot of people will tell you that sober stands for son of a B, everything's real. Mm-hmm. SOBER. Son of a B, everything's real.
Everything is real now.
And hitting that second year, or getting past that first year and hitting the second year, no more excuses. Now you really got to get down to the hard work. Mm-hmm. So what did you do in the past year? Name a couple things that you've done in the last year that you weren't able to do the year previous or even before that?
You know, I'm able to give myself to people more and be more. I'm very accountable now for my actions. Confrontation was something that I didn't like before, and I want to say it in a good way now. Confrontation's good, to talk about issues instead of yell about them, instead of fight about them, to be more upfront and personal with a person. Say, if you have a problem with me, I'm going to ask you and talk about it. I'm not going to yell about it. I'm not going to fight about it. You know, maybe by discussing things, we can work it out. Being a way better father. Being able to, I was able to buy my daughter a car, you know, homecoming dresses, you know, saw my grandchild. I have a grandchild now that's just amazing. I just want to spend more time with her. And it's all I think about is, wow, I can be that grandfather, that better father to my children that need that better father that wasn't there for such a long time.
I'll tell you a story. Or will you share the story about the father of your grandchild and how you handled him compared to how you would have handled him 2, 3, 4 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Because I was really proud of you for this. I think this was a real benchmark.
I was really proud of myself, and I won't mention his name. My daughter that lives down in Florida, she had a baby, and it was from this other young man. I met the young man. I've talked to him on the phone. Really nice kid. He's just misdirected and just needs a little help. And I think he'll find it. He hasn't found that spot yet. He was just really abusive to my daughter, and he did some things that really aren't. How do I want to say?
Acceptable.
For a young man who has a child and is trying to be a better person in life. And I'm not going to say exactly what he did, but when I confronted him, my old self would be grab him by his neck, throw him down the stairs, and beat the living what out of him. But the new Dave talked to him, bring him for a ride, try to talk a little sense into him, or maybe listen to him. Maybe listen more and see what was really going on with him. And then, you know, I did the right steps. I didn't do the wrong steps. I didn't grab him by his neck like I should have, but I didn't. I had to call the police on him. In my past, I would have called the police after something else happened to him. And, you know, I was trying to be loving and caring to him. I was trying to be more of a male figure in his life.
Because he probably hasn't had a good role model.
He hasn't had a good role model, and I pray for him every day because he is the father of my granddaughter.
Yeah.
And he needs to be a better role model. And he needs to be a better father, and he needs to be in my daughter's life if he chooses to be, if my daughter chooses to have him in her life. And it was a really eye-opening experience for me going down to see them. You know, he got carted away by the police, and they took him somewhere else, not to jail or anything, but just took him away from our situation.
Did you go down there because of this? Or
No,
you were
I went
just
down.
there?
I planned this trip. Me and my my 16-year-old daughter Alexis, we went down there, and it was an amazing trip. It was daddy and daughter time, and then daddy and daughters and granddaughter time, and son time, and it was really amazing. We spent 4 wonderful days on the beach in a hotel, waves crashing, baby crying, doing all the things that I dreamed of. Mm-hmm. I was just dreaming of just being able to spend that time with her, and today I just I'm planning another trip down there. What I want to plan is my daughter to come here and spend some time.
Dave Pastwa is our special guest today on Recovery Monday. Just about to enter his 2nd year of sobriety, and just some of his stories. And one of the stories I'm going to ask him to tell in a minute was where he had the opportunity to pray for a dying man, a moment that he would have handled much differently had he still been using and abusing. Lila Stafford is my co-host. Of course, we've got the incredible Bob Montserrat. Ryan's in the house. I'm Mac. We'll see you back here in a minute on KTAI.
who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Get away from us, you mean old credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit, you're our hero!
Metro Ford's on everywhere. Metro Ford's on everywhere.
See 'em here, see 'em there. You got bad credit? We don't care.
Metro Ford's on everywhere. Metro Ford's on everywhere.
Visit emetroford.com for your guaranteed credit approval. Good credit, bad credit, no credit. Everybody drives with guaranteed credit approval at emetroford.com.
Metro Ford's on everywhere.
Visit emetroford.com today.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. Welcome back to Recovery Monday. We thank you for being with us today. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and if I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. I love this job. Couldn't do it without you. And we do it here every Monday along with Lila Stafford from Powell CDC. You know someone who can help someone. You are not helpless. Now, I will admit to you that unless somebody wants to get help, there's nothing anybody can do. You can't divorce them. You can't lock them in their room. You can't lock them out of the house. You can't fire them. The addiction, the possessive behavior will just continue. But when they say, I'm ready, you know someone. You call Lila. You call me. You call Bob. You call Ryan, you call somebody, and we'll get you in touch with somebody at Powell CDC, 263-2424, and the help will begin.
You just said that they couldn't get a divorce.
Huh?
You just said they couldn't get divorced, but you can get divorced, but it's a good idea to get help for the person first and stick in there for at least a year.
Yeah. What I meant by that was...
It doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
A lot of times it doesn't help. Now, you're saying it does sometimes.
Well, sometimes you bring the bottom up to somebody. I mean, I threatened that with my husband. I said, if you ever drink again, I'm out of here. And that straightened him up.
Yeah. Well, but I also learned, and tell me where I'm wrong on this, that you can't quit drinking for anybody but you.
Well, ultimately. But at the beginning, I wouldn't say there's one person that comes, well, maybe 1 out of 70 will come to us because they want it. The rest of them are coming because someone else is pushing them in there. So the first few days, they're sitting there with their arms crossed like, I don't want to be here. And then after a while, they get used to it. And then eventually they'll be there for themselves.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but almost everybody. But hardly anyone comes there for themselves because they're in a place where they don't love themselves to begin with.
Yeah.
I had a friend that I bring to Powell. And that's something that happens after you have a year and a half clean or so. She called. She worked. I won't even mention, but she called me and she goes, Dave. She goes, I'm hurting. I need help. And I think I reached out to Mac at that point and got some numbers. I bring her to Powell and I told her where to go and I checked in on her and I kept checking in on her, but she wanted to go. She needed to go. Mm-hmm. She knew when she was laying in her own puke and feces that she had enough. That was enough. That was enough. She didn't want to live like that anymore. And I'm so proud of her today because she just moved to Texas and she has, I think it's 6.5 months clean.
Oh, cool.
And it's amazing that just maybe I had something to do with that. And I know I had something to do with it because she asked me for help.
Yeah.
And I was able to help her. And I was there for her. I gave her the AA book that Mac gave me.
Oh.
So
you gave away my book?
Yeah, sorry, Mac. But she read that book.
Yeah.
And that was important, you know, and seeing her in meetings and you know, it's amazing how the programs, and I can say AA and NA and CR, how they all work. And when you see a newcomer come in, and there's so many new people that I see come in the program, and I just sit back and I smile, and some days I just have this this grin on my face, and I won't say a word, but just watching them get birthdays and the 6 months, and then now I've been along long enough. It's I'm almost at my 2 years, but I can see them people that get to 18 months now. It's amazing, and it just makes you feel so good inside because just maybe something I said or something I've done had something to do with them to stick around in the rooms for just another day.
I had a guy come up to me the other day, and I swear I've never seen him before in my life, but he said, "You told me I would never make it to 2 years, and I have almost 3 years right now."
I guess he got you, didn't he?
Well, and here's the thing. I don't talk like that. I don't tell people that they can't make it because I do just the opposite. But I thought, well, if he thinks I said that good, if that's what's keeping him, keeping him
he
going.
just probably misinterpreted you,
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
All right. I want you to share an experience you had, and you know the one I'm talking about.
Yes.
It's a Wednesday morning, and it's a little after 8 o'clock. We just got done with our Men Inspired men's group, studying the book of Romans, and like a good boy, you went out to go to work.
Yeah. Well, that morning was pretty amazing. We were talking about God's grace that morning and how... and I remember I cried my eyes out that day more than once, and it was because of the grace that God has given me, and I was able to share my story with our men's group, and telling them, I remember driving down to rehab, and being able to just say I was scared because when I was taking my second trip down to Florida to see my granddaughter, I was scared about that. Okay, all those old feelings came back, going by certain signs, and just knowing that this is where I recovered. And I took my daughter to all the places, and I got to speak in the place where I went to rehab at.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's a place called Unity Recovery, and it was an amazing place, and they let me speak, and I spoke for over an hour and 15 minutes, and it just flowed through me. I don't know, you can call it whatever you want, the Holy Spirit, whatever. It was all over. But I was able to do that with our men's group, and then usually the guys they go right after the group into the bridge and they hang out.
We're called the Hey Guys.
The Hey Guys.
Because every time Pastor Jeremy,
hey guys,
he comes in with his little 4-year-old son.
Hey
and
guys,
he can't wait to get in that room, and as soon as he gets in there, he looks over there and goes,
Hey guys.
Hey guys. So we're the Hey Guys.
So I know those guys go there, and I had to go to work, and I get on the expressway, I-80. It's actually I-80, Jordan Creek Parkway, I-80, heading west or east into Des Moines. And as I'm getting on the exit, the traffic's kind of backed up because it kind of bunches up there. And here I see this car coming out of my left side. I see it coming, going through the medium, and hit the pedestrian walkway pylon in the middle. And when I say I saw everything from the car sliding across the grass to the impact to me jumping out of the car, running, being a first responder, running to the car. The gentleman in the passenger seat was screaming, "Help! Help!" And there was another guy who stopped. I immediately said, "You're going to be fine." I ran to the other side of the car and that's where there was a guy, the driver, in the car. He was out. I grabbed his hand. I felt a pulse. I grabbed his neck and I felt a pulse. And I was just asking God, I was like, God, just please save this man. Just save him. I don't know the words I need to tell you right now, but he needs to be saved. He needs your help. He needs your strength. He needs whatever you got just to get him to wherever he needs to go. And as the fire trucks were pulling up, his pulse was fading, and he died right there in my arms. I call it my arms or my hands, however. But I really felt that something happened there. I didn't really look at the man like I just, when you look at somebody, I was just thinking of him as a human being in a loving, kind way, and just wanted him to live. And so he died. He died right then and there. And I was it rocked me pretty hard. That rocked me really hard. And there was another guy on the side of the road, and he had his hands crossed, and he was just walking and praying. I was like, hey, and I introduced myself to him, and he was an insurance salesman from Nebraska, figures. Kind of funny, but we talked and we prayed for a second, and then I asked if I was all right to go, and I got in my car, and I just broke down and cried, and I was like, well, what do I do? Where do I go right now? But my immediate thought was, I'm going back up to the church to see my guys, and because I knew they were there because they're the Hay guys.
Yeah.
So they were at the bridge, and I pulled up in the front, and I just walked out of the car, and I don't know, I had a look that only Matt could describe probably.
The moment you walked in the door, you were walking differently. The speed was differently. I knew something was going on. And by the time you got to us, you just collapsed.
Yeah. And then I remember Ted, he just grabs me. He goes, "You just need a hug, don't you?" And then they prayed over me. And then Kelly she's like, maybe, Dave, maybe that was that point in your life, this point today, this minute that God had asked you to be there for this man who had passed. And maybe that was, you were his entrance into heaven. Maybe that prayer that you said over him. And that's amazing. And that's how I keep thinking about it, because I haven't talked about it in a while, but when I do I feel that's what happened. I know that. I know where he's at, and I'm going to see him, and he's going to thank me when I get there. Yeah. He's going to go, "Hey, thanks a lot, brother, for just praying on me." The other gentleman who was on the passenger side, they had no family. But
they were from Wisconsin?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they were coming from. One's from North Dakota, one's from Pennsylvania, and I went to the hospital the next day to check on the gentleman. I found his name in the paper, and he didn't know who I was, and of course I just needed for my closure to see him there, and just said a kind word, and then that was it. I just wanted him to know that I was there for his friend.
And how does this relate to sobriety? You're sitting at home going, "Wow, incredible story," but I'm confused how it happened in sobriety. It's easy. He wouldn't have been able to do it.
No.
He would have been drunk or high.
High for sure.
Or too afraid because he might have had something in the car.
Yeah,
and so I don't want to get involved. And he would have driven on.
I also think it has to do with his relationship with God now.
Yeah.
You have a relationship now.
Yeah.
You've surrendered to him. He's your friend.
Yeah. He is my friend.
It just makes life easier you wanted to talk to a friend with him.
Yeah, it's weird, because I never thought I would be this person today. Have this really close connection with God like I do. When I always had it, I just didn't realize it. And just being able to talk to that person and being able to know that if you listen hard enough, he'll definitely give you the answer.
Well, you know, you don't have that fight going on that you did before, where you were always either trying to be right or it was going to be your way or the highway. You don't have that anymore, so it opens a lot of space in you to give to a higher power and space for a higher power to come into you.
I love that. I do.
Yeah.
I love that. I love being this person today, and I wouldn't change it for nothing. I would not want to go back out and use, because I see people that come back in and they have, and I went out with one of my friends the other night, and he told me that he relapsed, and he was telling me all about the relapse, and I told him, thank you so much for telling me. I says, not just that you told me about it, but how horrible it was.
Yeah.
And how miserable it was. And he told me, don't do it, Dave, because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
That story's always the same. And
Yeah,
people
it
that
is.
go back out, it's the same story.
It reminds me. It reminds us that, you know what, if we go back out there, we're just going to probably pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
And the misery's, it's not refundable.
Yeah.
And, you know, Lila, you're right. I mean, I think about all the meetings I've been to. You've been to, you know, 5 times the number I have. But even in the 4 years that I've been doing this, you never find somebody who went back out and goes, yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah.
I learned how to drink properly.
Yeah.
You know, now I know how to drink, so I don't have those problems anymore.
Right.
The first day they may think they've got it whipped, and it's like, you know, depending on who the person is. But then you just watch it. It's a progressive disease, and it will get bad quickly.
Will consume you quick.
Yeah.
All right, Dave Pastwa is our guest, so we've learned a little bit about his new grandchild and his daughter, and we've learned a little bit about, you know, that experience of helping somebody else maybe take that final step to heaven. When we come back, let's get a little more personal. How about things under the roof? How about things at home? How are things there? We'll talk to Dave. Year number 2 begins in a few days, right here at 99.3.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're gonna make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do. What type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
All right, 22 minutes before the top of the hour here on Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC. We sure appreciate the time and effort that you take in tuning into this program. We know you have lots of choices on a Monday afternoon. We know you have lots of choices all weekend long on Sunday night with the American Family Radio Network. But for whatever reason, you tune in to us. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd go to RestoringHopeLive.com or go to my Facebook page, Mac J. Michael McCoy. Lila's on Facebook also. Bob's not, so don't. Oh, no, yes, you are. You're on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
And, just say, hey, what's going on? Nice to hear from you. I think you ought to cover this subject. Or how about covering this subject? Or I think my story would be good for your radio program. You're the one I want to hear from. You're the one we're trying to reach out to and make a difference in your life. Maybe you're not the one having the problem. Chances are you're not. It's your pastor. It's your priest. It's your friend. It's your daughter. It's your son. It's your mother. It's your husband. It's your... Okay, maybe it is you. And you're scared. Because you don't know how to operate without alcohol or drugs or food or anger. And it's just gotten the best of you. And you have learned to pray the serenity prayer over and over, and you can hardly ever get to the end of it because it just doesn't seem to work for you. And then one day, you listen to this radio program, and you learn to ask the higher power, which we call God, to take over. Because, see, there's nothing more powerful. Now, I'm going to say this slowly because it's not going to make sense to you when I first say it. You cannot believe the power that you'll find in powerlessness. You won't believe the power you'll have in your life when you decide that you are powerless. Want to know more? Check out somebody with a 12-step program. We'll find you. We'll meet you where you're at. You don't come to where we're at. We'll come to where you're at, not only physically but emotionally. And that'll be the first day of the rest of your life. Now, Dave's got about 731 going. Did you ever think about sobriety and being clean before you decided this time to make it happen?
Yeah, I made a lot of reservations.
Okay.
I remember a lot of times I would say, this is probably a good day to stop, and mark it in my calendar. And that day would just come and go. I never really heard about some of the programs that are out there. I heard about AA when I was from my first marriage. My first wife, her dad was an AA, and he would go to meetings and he would do really well. And now I understand how he was. I didn't at that time because I thought they just had a problem, and we would drink in front of him and all these other things. And I'm sorry, John, for that. I know that he's passed since then, but now I'd probably be different. Towards people. I'm way different towards people like that now because I understand that I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I can't be around people who do drink and do drugs. I can be around people a little bit if I'm at a wedding or something like that, because I have people that are around me that watch over me a little bit. It's just,
I was at a wedding reception, not this last Saturday, but the Saturday before. And I was with my buddies. I mean, these are guys I've had lunch with. It's my Friday lunch guys. We've had lunch on Friday for 20-some years together, same place. And I've been around long enough to know when that point is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so the wedding happened, and then there was a little food, and the first round of beers, and second round of beers. And I remember they went up to get shots. And I thought, time to go.
Go.
And I was so comfortable leaving. I wasn't upset.
Right.
I didn't have a resentment. I wasn't mad at myself that I couldn't handle the alcohol. I wasn't mad at God that he made me this way. I was probably a tad bit arrogant in saying, "Good job, Mac." You didn't leave right away. You didn't not come to the wedding and make an excuse out of it, and you didn't hard nail it through the whole time. I just knew that when they got shots and Zog had that look in his eye, it was time to go. and I left.
Yeah, I went through a really close experience like that. My niece got married in Chicago. We took a trip out there for her to get married. And this is probably my third trip since I've been clean and going out there. And it's funny how my sister-in-law, Kathy, she'll have me iced tea, and my niece will have me iced tea. Mm-hmm. They'll know exactly what I like to drink, and it's not alcohol. And it's pretty amazing before, because it used to be beers, and they used to be flowing and flowing and flowing until we passed out. But it was fun to go to a wedding and be clean. I was able to pray over my niece when we were in the room before she walked down the aisle. It was fun to say the prayer before we all ate. It was fun to bring everybody else their drinks and me water. And I think I counted 17 waters I had that day. But who was counting? I had such a wonderful time with my family, and them all knowing that that's not me anymore. Yeah. I don't do that, and them respecting it. It's pretty amazing.
Who do you think? Now, I don't want names. Who in that group was waiting for you to drink? I don't want names. Because come on, we're fooling ourselves if we don't think somebody there.
I think. You know what? I want to say no one. Because they all watched my journey, and they all had a part of it, and they were all proud of me the way I was, and I was still that same fun person, and maybe even funner, because I wasn't falling, and that makes a big difference. I think I don't think any of them really, because I think my family had my back.
Yeah,
I think my family had my back, and they're like, no, they don't want to see me go back to where I was. My 2 girls, my 3 girls, and my son, they're my biggest cheerleaders. They got my back.
How has home life changed for them? For the kids, when I went down to Florida, my son was drinking, and he was sloshed in one day. But then he slowed down, and he just enjoyed his dad a little bit, And my daughter, she enjoyed her dad. And I think, I don't get to spend a lot of time with them. And I think that, they're not used to this person, my 2 girls here, Carly and Alexis, they're used to the dad they have now. My daughter drinks up at ISU, but that's the college experience. And sometimes I will bring them beer, and you know what? I don't have to drink. I can live through them. But I think they really do like their dad this way. He's more caring, loving. I don't think there's too many days I miss that I don't tell them I love them. And that's all of them, including my kids in Florida, David and Katie, and my granddaughter, Kaylee. They need to know that this dad is here for them. And I always ask them, if you need anything, just ask, because I will do whatever I have to do to get it for you, within reason. I love my life the way it is with them in it. I was able to see Alexis go through homecoming, buy her a nice dress, get her nails done, all that stuff. And you take that for granted, Before I took that all for granted when Carly was going through that, and now I can enjoy it. And I'm sorry, Carly, that I wasn't there for you at that time, but she knows that I'm there now, and that's important. Yeah. And she will be able to, she's going to find herself in a situation at some point up at ISU. And everything that you've gone through, she will live vicariously through you. Mm-hmm. And she'll help somebody. Because she'll know what her dad did.
And that's what she wants to do. I think maybe I had a big part of what she's choosing to do with her career.
What is that?
And that's to help others, And Carly, I don't know what your major is, because you keep changing it. But I'm sure you'll let me know after this radio show. I know it's to help others. And it's to work with like DHS and be a parent partner and stuff like that. And it's amazing that I surround myself with people like that. I have friends that are parent partners. I have friends that are just helping and speaking. Yeah.
When we come back, 2 years.
Right on.
What's up for the third? A look ahead for Dave Pastwa. Here on Recovery Monday with Lila and Bob and me. and, of course, you on KTIA 99.3, The Truth.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Get away from my Sumito credit card. We don't have any more money. We're in trouble now. Save us! Help! Somebody save us! Somebody help! Help! Save us!
Hi, I'm Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of Des Moines. If your credit card's a little too animated, give us a call.
Hooray! We're saved! Consumer Credit, you're our hero!
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Welcome back to Recovery Monday on this Monday. If you're listening to this program on the American Family Radio Network, all 143 stations, we thank you. That means it's Sunday evening, and we always look forward to your feedback. You can get a hold of us at our website, restoringhopelive.com, Facebook, Mac J. Michael McCoy, just all kinds of ways, macmccoy.com. Find us and reach out and tell us what's going on in your life. All right, so you're about to get 2 years.
Yes.
I would imagine you are now starting to make some long-term goals and plans.
Well, am I?
I would imagine at this point you're not making any long-term goals or plans.
You know, I have some plans. I know some things I'd like to do. It's just still day by day sometimes. I don't fly by the seat of my pants. I do make decisions really quick. But I make the right decisions quick now instead of the wrong ones. There's a lot going on in my life. I love recovery. I love being able to share it with other people. I think whether it be Celebrate Recovery, AA, or NA, I think just being able to share the message of hope and the strength that you get from being in recovery and showing people that, you don't have to drink, do drugs, whatever is that you're having a problem with, whatever addiction that you have, you can recover. It can be arrested at some point, and it's made possible through a lot of the programs that we all engage in. For me, I think my favorite one out of all of them would be Celebrate Recovery for me, because it has a lot of God in it. And then for my drug use, since I use so much that I need to go back into NA and listen to the message that they give. But drinking is where I started, so that's where AA comes in for me.
What's the difference in the message from a 12-step program and NA?
No, NA is a 12-step program too.
But between the two rooms,
I think here's how I get it, and here's how I perceive it. In some people, is that if you go to AA, you can do drugs. and I don't perceive that. I think when I go to AA meetings, I hear people that have the same problem as me. I hear more of them. And in NA, it's all about being an addict. It tells us that drugs, alcohol, whatever you're an addict to, you're an addict. But with Celebrate Recovery, it's more about it's the same thing. It's all of it, all together, and putting God first in your life and how you can recover. It's amazing. I did my 12-step program through Celebrate Recovery. We started, I think it was June 20 or January 27th or June 27th. It went for 7 months almost. And we did every step as a group of men, as a group of 10 men. And I think at the end of it, there was 9 of us at the end of the program. And all of us went through all that together. And as we went through that, we called each other. We were accountability partners for each other. And I think right now there's one man that stands out to me, and it's Jeremiah, and me. He's been on your show too, and he is my accountability partner. I have several. Mac, you're one of them. I mean, my men's group, my friend Matt at the church. Just so many people that I can bounce things off of, and when I feel like I love to be able to I can ask Mac a question. I can ask all these other men the same question, and I might get a different answer from each one of them, but they're pretty much really close to the same answer.
Yeah.
And when I do that, it just, man, my life is so much better.
What do you, maybe you haven't faced this situation yet, and if you have, just share with us. Have you had anybody say, I think I'm going to drink today, or I think I'm going to use today?
I haven't. But I've seen people that been in the programs for years and just fall off.
Yeah.
Or they'll go back to their old place they lived, and they find themselves in a position where my friend that I met with the other night, he says, Dave, I just found myself in a position where well, maybe I just try once, and he goes, and then that was it. But he didn't do the right thing, and I think the right thing would be, don't put yourself in that position, first of all, or maybe pick up the phone at that time and say, you know what, I need some help. Can you help me right now?
It doesn't do any good to call somebody after you're drunk.
No, don't call me after you drink.
I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, we were in a position where me and you both, Mac, where I asked you that one day to come in when we were at the church, and we had that guy come in.
Oh, yeah.
And we got and you know what? He recovered. He's in recovery, and he's got some clean time. It's amazing how that works. But I think when you come at people, 1 or 2 people together, instead of just by yourself, because there's no influence there.
Yeah, you're supposed to have a couple
I've done
people.
12-step calls. It's pretty amazing how AA does that. NA doesn't do that so much. I don't see that in NA as much as I do in AA.
I want to clear up something. All of the 12-step programs are about being abstinent-free, and it just depends on how you want to interpret things.
Right.
I mean, I know people that go to NA and say, "Well, I can drink," so it.
Really?
But
but in their basic text, it tells you that alcohol is a drug too. That if you're doing alcohol, you're doing a drug, and it's a mind-altering chemical.
Yeah.
If
you have a good sponsor, in any of the programs, they're going to tell you to stay away from everything.
Everything, yeah. Mine was.
Yeah.
Well, I sure appreciate you coming in here, Dave, for your 2-year. Now, of course, we'll mark it down for year 3.
Yes, sir.
And you better have some new stories.
I think we will.
And remember, those of you who are taking the time to listen to this show, either live or in a podcast, this is serious stuff.
It is.
It's too often that we bury somebody. It's too often that we open up the local paper and we see that someone has died, and it doesn't say in there from alcohol or drug abuse. It doesn't usually say anything at all. Right. But there are those of us who have tried to rescue these folks and to save them and to bring them to a place where they can save themselves, and they won't get the help. And this is a terminal disease. Alcohol and drug abuse, depression, anger issues. This is a death sentence if you don't get help. This program is on the air. Powell CDC sponsors it, so you know where to go to get help. So the next time you need somebody, next time somebody you love needs somebody, come to us, call us, and we will be there to help you.
Amen.
And as I always say, today there's somebody living rent-free between your ears. They have made you mad and you can't forgive them. Tonight, drop to your knees and ask God to please forgive you and that individual and begin to live a free and happy life. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Mac.